Let's get right out to Arthur Chan to kick things off for us first at 5. Arthur?
Guys, right now, people are getting off from school and people are getting off from work, coming back to find out what happened to their building and the reality of what they have to deal with right now. This was a building here that went at 8:10 this morning is when residents tell us that they first heard a boom, the sound of an explosion, as they describe it, followed by the building shaking as if it were about to collapse. This is 205 Alexander Avenue, and let's show you video of what was happening when they felt that vibration, when they felt the building shake. It was that the massive chimney stack on one corner of the building came crashing down. Parts of it had to fall more than 20 stories to hit the ground. Now, people ran for their lives down the stairs, they tell us. The emergency units came flying in, searching for people who they thought might be trapped, or even worse, using cadaver dogs and going over surveillance video. But it is what's being described as a miracle by both people who live here and city officials that at this point, not even a single minor injury is reported. Now, the building was evacuated, and building investigators have been going from floor to floor, checking for cracks to assess the structural integrity of the building. Now, 2 rows of apartments lining the chimney, the F and G lines of this building, are still fully evacuated. They constitute more than 40 apartments. The city officials pointing out today, October 1st, is the first day that heat has to be turned on, and buildings have to maintain a temperature of about 68 degrees or higher, if I remember correctly. Now, it means that as this was turned on, it might have had something to do with it. Fox 5 has found out that work was being done on the boiler, which is at the base of the chimney where it collapsed. Now, we spoke with the city's deputy mayor of public safety, who told us that somebody from NYCHA was actually in the boiler room when the explosion went off.
And that there was a NYCHA representative down there that was starting the boiler. And it seemed like when he turned on the boiler, which is preliminary, this is still under investigation, this is very, very, very preliminary, that there was some sort of malfunction when the boiler was turned on that caused this accident behind us.
Somebody was downstairs in the boiler when this ignited and got a sense that it was time to get out?
That they heard the explosion, and immediately the person ran for cover, ran out of the building, as it would happen, and then when he went, seeing what happened outside, and obviously there was a multiple 911 calls that came in.
Now, the key here is some residents telling us they don't have any water right now. That boiler is what supplies hot water and heat, not just to this building, but to all the surrounding buildings in this complex. It's a lot of people. The city's trying to get that back online, but first they have to take the remaining parts of the brick down. They're doing it brick by brick right now, spraying it as well, because this is a building with asbestos, so that's another concern that they have out here. That's the latest from our side of 205 Alexander. We now send you over to my colleague Antwan Lewis, who's been talking to people who live out here about their situation. Antwan.
Arthur, those residents in the building are coming here to the Mitchell Community Center, where Red Cross is working with NYCHA to coordinate the distribution of services. We're talking about a food pantry, water. A big truck just left here, having made a delivery just a few moments ago. Let's show you some video, because gas is still turned off at the Mitchell complex, as Arthur just mentioned. So tenants that have been most impacted are the F and G lines, those apartment lines. And when the partial collapse happened this morning around 8:10, those were the ones that reacted the hardest. If you will hear that in just a moment. Now, those residents will be temporarily housed in hotels for the next few days until officials say they can go back into their units. Everyone else is being allowed in. Now, the Mitchell Community Center, as I mentioned, is now a processing facility where the Red Cross is working with NYCHA to coordinate temporary housing as well as food vouchers for the affected and impacted residents. Residents that we spoke with describing to us earlier this morning those scary moments. Take a listen.
I called 911 and I was telling them that there's something going on the building. The lady was like, hold on, let me transfer you to the fire department. Before she said, hold on, the next thing you know, the thing just exploded and go boom.
As I was telling my family to get out the house, the side of the building started collapsing. I said, oh my God, the building's falling down. Everybody get out.
You comfortable with going back in your unit? Where are you? Be honest.
I'm kind of skeptical about going in there, because I don't know if, I know it's going to be on my mind. It's not to be funny, but the building going, rest of the building going to collapse or whatever. I'm just saying, I don't know.
You got anxiety?
I'm thinking about 9/11. Come the way I seen that building fall.
And as you come back to us live, that has certainly been the sentiment. A lot of anxiety coming from the people that we spoke with. We also have some updated numbers for you from the Red Cross. They told us that of the 40 or so units that make up the building that was impacted, 31 households have signed up for emergency services. Of that number, 74 are adults, 24 are children. This is the very latest from where we are. Back inside to you.
All right, Antwan, thank you so much. And